Haiti borders with the Dominican.
Her name is Serena Buffalino. They call her Mrs. B, and her class always begins with a pledge.
Something local, something global. Haiti.
They're words that carry weight here. Helping yourself means helping others, giving back, here and a world away in Haiti.
And nobody's helping them, except for people like us.
It was through her the class learned of Haiti, of the nearly 1 million orphans, many with no school, no support, no Mrs. B in their lives.
They could not wrap their head around that.
Mrs. B's students are among Toronto's most at risk. Their challenges vary from emotional and behavioral difficulties to learning disabilities. Their trauma is so severe they can't function in a regular school setting, and we aren't allowed to show most of their classmates.
For most of the kids, most of society has turned them away. And in this classroom, they're accepted. They're accepted no matter what for who they are.
Take Yolanda. She came here last year so burdened and withdrawn, she would often fall silent, sometimes for days on end. It was, she says, Mrs. B's patience, her quiet encouragement, that saved her.
She actually saves people's lives from dangers.
And perhaps that's why these marginalized kids feel such a kinship with the orphans of Haiti, and why they were moved to act.
And so when Yolanda and Jackie and Patrick said, well, Miss B, we need to build them a school.
Build a school, no easy task. They started out raising money. They sold samosas, washed cars, screened movies, you name it. And in just a few months, this little class raised $20,000. So much, it's not just a one-room schoolhouse they can build, but a full 3-story school. And so Mrs. B set off on a journey she'd dreamed of, up into the dusty mountains above Port-au-Prince to a town called Canaan. It's home to thousands of earthquake refugees who live with no running water, no electricity, and no school, until now. The first step was a temporary school. It's up and running. 53 students already in uniform. The permanent school for 250 is growing from its foundations.
It makes me want to cry because she just makes me feel so awed, and I'm very proud of her.
All of this because of a handful of students back in Canada, and Mrs. B, the teacher who believed in them.
These are for you.
At another fundraiser, a special tribute to the students, accepted by someone who, without Mrs. B, might not be here.
They believe in me and I believe in them, and together we not only change our lives, but we change the world around us.
For inspiring great things and seeing the potential in everyone, Serena Buffalino is this week's Everyday Hero.
This is the reason why I do what I do, is because of Yolanda and all the...
Good morning.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Yay, cool. Yay, cool. How are you doing?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, lady?
I am doing really quite well. You know, I'm Barbara Ellison. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hi. And I'm so excited for our guest today.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, before we even get into all that.
Okay.
First of all, you look beautiful. I love your top. You're glowing. It's
Thank
like
you.
you're sparkling.
And I got new earrings and new glasses.
Oh,
These
look
are
at
hot
you.
pink. These are hot pink.
Look at you looking all jazzy and stuff. I was like, okay, where is she going?
Nope.
It's like you're going out on the town.
I am on a roll, which it's just, you know me, I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the thing is that it has to start with us.
Yeah, you're right.
We can't impact the world if we don't, which we talk about all the time. Anyways, and why I'm excited about our guest is because she's been one of the ones that's been pushing me a little bit.
Okay.
With Carol.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we have talked about is clutter. What clutter do you have in your life? And it's been from a couple of different sources that we've been doing a couple of things together. Anyways, so the other day, I'm going to tell on myself. Okay, let me ask you a question first. How many emails is too many emails to have in your inbox?
Oh, God. Well, I fail at that. I fail at that.
All right, so how many do you have?
Okay. You talking about one because I have 3 different emails. So, probably like maybe in the inbox, maybe I could estimate 500. Maybe it's bad.
Okay,
it's bad.
Yeah, no, that's not
Probably
bad.
even more.
Guess how many I had? 80,000.
Oh, okay. So yeah, my other email, yeah, I got like you. I told you I had 3 email addresses.
I have multiple email addresses, and why I have multiple email addresses is, and that's part of my lesson for today, is take the time to learn how to do something efficiently. I did not know how to segment my emails. So instead of just learning how to segment my emails within my one email inbox, I just kept getting more email boxes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That was the way you were segmented.
That's how I was segmenting my emails, was having.
Oh, well, I just did another email address. No problem.
I'll just start a new email address instead of taking the time to do it. Anyways, so Carol was just talking about clutter. And then we were in this group together, and they talked about clutter. And one of the things that he specifically said, kudos, Nick Unsworth. Anyways, kudos to him. He said, if you have a cluttered inbox, he said, I can totally relate. I can totally understand, because you're afraid that you don't want to just delete them because there might be something important in there. And that was like, oh yeah, that's exactly why I don't, and part of it was just laziness. Okay, I'll tell. But some of it was, by now it's like, ooh, there might be something important in there and I don't want to just delete. He said, all you do is you archive them. Oh, So I spent, would you believe? So there was me page by page, because I'm just learning how to be a techie, page by page, deleting 100 emails at a time. And then all of a sudden it was like, do you want to bulk 7,526 all at one time? Do you want to do an action with all of them?
Yes.
Yes. So in 10 minutes, I got rid of 80,000. I archived 80,000 emails. There's a little space in the top of the who knew. But the thing is, look. So that's part of the lesson. Look and see what's a more efficient way of doing something.
Yes.
So
now is this in Gmail?
This is in Gmail. In Gmail, I can now give lessons.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Email.
Because it's funny, because as you're talking to me, I'm looking to see where that little
and it's in red, very small print. Would you like to do a bulk of 7, however many emails you have? I said, fine. So I was called Carol. I said, I took a before shot and after shot of all of these emails. Plus I had 2 email apps on my phone. 2 email apps
I
on
do
my
too.
phone.
See what me and you are in the same.
Yeah, that's why we're friends. That's why we're co-hosts and why we're successful. Anyways, so got rid of the 2 apps, 80,000 emails. And so then said to Carol, I said, okay, Carol, I am committed. And just that has ones come in that I really am not going to ever read because, you get on people's list, heaven knows how, but I've never heard of this person. I'm going to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
So this morning before the show, knowing, I haven't done that. So I was lying in bed this morning after my devotion time. And I was like, I have got to at least get rid of 10, unsubscribe from at least 10 people, because that was what my commitment was. And I'm on a deadline here because the show is coming on. So there was me reading an email, going down to their subscribe button. Well, by the time I got to the second or third one, I said, Barbara, what has been your lesson? Learn how to do something more efficiently. There's got to be an easy way, an easier way. So there was me on it. Well, 3 dots do lots of things on your computer, 3 dots. And guess what's in the middle of the 3 dots? Then their little menu comes up right in the middle. Unsubscribe. Unsubscribe. Are you sure you want to unsubscribe? Yes. And then at the top, delete, and it deleted the email for that email I got, and it unsubscribed me from that list.
So is it the 3 dots within the email, or is it within?
So on your phone,
when
you can go into the email.
Oh, go into the email. Okay.
Go into onto your email, and then get into email, Barbara. And then on the top, there is 3 little dots. So if you go into the email, so this one here, into the email, and then on the right here, there's 3 little dots. And if you click on those 3 little dots, a menu comes up, unsubscribe. So go into the email itself.
Okay, I did.
Okay, and then on the top right, there's 3 little dots.
Okay. And I don't see unsubscribe.
Click on the 3 little dots, and there should be an unsubscribe button. It's an unsubscribe link.
Oh, it's not there.
Okay, well then we're not going to spend the show doing your.
This is helping everybody.
But this is helping everybody.
But it's good to know. I mean, archive to get rid of things,
and then unsubscribe. So, and then I deleted that message. So then the next time I came, so then has in my email box, because people send multiple, and then I have 2 email addresses. So I had subscribed to the same list with 2 different emails. So, okay, so if I do want to keep it, I have a duplicate. So which one am I going to keep? Delete, so unsubscribe from the other one and keep the one.
Yeah, that's funny how I did the same. See, like I said, we're in sync. I did the same thing where I went and gave one email in another email to the same person. Now I'm getting the same person, and now you're getting. And I've got come that I get 2 or 3 from. Oh yeah. Well, they send forever. They be sending stuff like that. Right. So now did you learn? Because there's something else that I learned from Gmail.
Yeah.
To that's kind of nice. Now the ones that you want to keep, like the ones that come in a lot, but you want to keep them because you subscribe. You don't want to unsubscribe, but you might not want to archive. So there's a way in Gmail where you can set it where you can create a folder for them.
Right. And it'll go to the folder.
And it goes right into that folder instead of in your inbox.
Right. That's what I have. So that's my next. Next lesson to learn how to do that. There is a way to do it.
Yeah.
And you know what? And the thing is, you hear me say all the time that Google is my friend. Well, so guess what I'm going to be doing after this show is Google how to put email from Gmail into a folder, because it's a Google. What do you think Gmail is? It's Google.
Google.
Anyways.
It's Googleable. Like they say, it's
Googleable. Right. Anyways. So that's my lesson for today.
Thank you.
I think the lesson for me was, for heaven's sakes, Barbara, take the time, spend that extra 10 minutes or so that it took me to figure out how to do this. But now going forward, look at all the time it's going to save me going forward.
A lot.
Rather than just not doing it, and then beating myself up because, Barbara, for heaven's sakes, why do you have 80,000 unread emails? Because every time I would see it, every time I turn, and how often do you turn on your phone every day? You would see it, and even though you don't think about it, your subconscious sees and hears everything.
Yes.
So it would see that 80,000, and it would be, oh, Barbara, you still haven't done anything with those emails.
It's in your mind.
It's because it's always there, even though it's not in our consciousness, but it's in our subconscious, because our subconscious takes in everything.
Yes.
And so it impacts, and how we got started talking about it, really, and this is what Carol, and I don't want to take away from what Carol's going to talk about, but it interferes with your productivity and your motivation.
Oh yeah, it all kind of, sinks in.
Yeah. So
now I don't want to take, because like you said, if Carol, we're going to be talking about that.
Because that's one of the things. Yeah.
There's another subject that I would like to ask.
Absolutely.
Because I look at you as Google University, Barbara University, because you've been knowing a lot of. You got a lot of wisdom. So, Miss, I want to ding Barbara University. Could you tell me?
Yes, and I'll see it. If I don't know, I'll find out.
And that's what I love about you. Now, this is the month of love. So it's, Valentine's Day is coming up.
Valentine's Day.
So where did Valentine's Day arrive from? I mean, where did it just,
It was, way back. He was a saint. St. Valentine's Day. St. Valentine's.
It's a saint.
He was a saint. Yeah. And, and I know the story. Let me think about it. But you know what? I'll bring it next week. Because I do know it. I've heard of it, and yeah, he was a saint, and he gave. It was something about the love of his life, or something or other.
That would be really cool.
I will find out,
and it would be nice because to see where it arrived from,
right,
and how people are doing
it, right, and how traditions. Oh, that'll be a great show. So that's what we'll have to talk about that next week. And you know what? The funny thing is, this is going to be tying in perfectly, because I'm going to brag for a second. Next week on our show, her name is Leilani Sayez. She is a behavioral research and teaching behavioral research, but now she's become a resilience coach.
Wow.
She's putting her training, because she's a big behavioral research brainy, very, but great gal to talk to. Anyways, so it's going to be fun to get her take on Valentine's.
Yes.
So that'll be, so that's a preview for next week. I totally enjoyed talking to her, and so that'll be for next week. So can I share one more little thing about that's making me happy?
Yeah, we have time. We're just waiting on our wonderful guests,
and then we'll bring Carol on. She said she was on. Is she not there?
Not yet. So we're just keep on moving until she pops up.
Because I got a note from her that said she was on.
No, I don't see her.
Okay, then I'll send her a note. Anyways.
Well, you could keep talking. I'll send her a note.
I'll send her a note. Anyways, so I just got a new bed.
Oh,
love my new bed. So, which is really what, and then my neighbor had a frame for it, that it was a beautiful wood frame with drawers. I am loving it. Thank you to my neighbor. She said, oh, I've got to get rid of it. And I'm like, that'll fit perfectly in my room and with my bed, my new bed. But anyways, the only problem was the sheets don't fit. The bottom sheet does, but the up sheet. So today I was making my bed. Do you make your bed? Okay, next question. Do you make your bed every day?
Yes. No, that's one thing I do.
Yeah, me too. It adds to your, and by the way, it adds to your productivity. It's one thing. It's one thing that you can check off your list that you've done. Anyways, so I said, Barbara, in the spirit of doing things that make you happy, and that now you have learned that you can really take charge of doing things more efficiently. It was like, Barbara, you didn't. I said, oh, because you know what? Sheets are expensive. They're more expensive than right now. I don't want to put out a whole, to buy sheets and pill. And I went, Barbara, for heaven's sakes, you don't have to buy a whole set. Just buy 2 top sheets. That's all that doesn't fit because they don't stay tucked in. For heaven's sakes, just go and buy 2 king size sheets for the top of your bed. Do you really care if they match the bottom sheet? No.
It's funny how when you, like you said, when you think this, be like, well, wait a minute, this don't have to be that difficult. Why am I making this?
Why am I making this so difficult? And we do that. How
with a lot of things
do we do that with so many things? Mm-hmm. Just take a minute to stop, wait, pause, and listen.
That's what you always say. That is like
that.
Out of, like you said, like I said, you have so much wisdom and knowledge. I mean, I love when you say that. Stop, wait, listen. Because that gives you that pause.
Take a breath and just go, gee, I'm an intelligent woman. There's got to be a better way. Why am I? So for now, because I've had, I've had this set of sheets for a while. And every time I change them, they look so nice when I first make the bed. Mm-hmm. This morning, they were bunched in the middles because they were bunched in the middle of my bed because as you turn, they don't stay tucked in. So they were not only the sheet, the quilt, and my my padding of my warmth electric. Mm-hmm. It was an electric blanket, and it's an electric blanket, and so it was all bunched in the middle of my bed.
Wow,
Barbara, just go buy 2 king size sheets, and then just rotate them every time you change and wash it. And do you care if they match the bottom sheet? Because all my bottom sheets fit, but the top sheet, because I've got a bigger bed now, it doesn't stay in.
And it's not like somebody's going to go into your room and say, "Now, Barbara,
yeah, exactly,
your top sheet is not matching with your bottom sheet."
And you know what?
You need to do that.
Really. But the thing is, too, is if somebody did, who cares?
Well, that's what I was going to say. That next.
It was like it was kind of, Barbara, get over yourself. But that was my mom. Everything matched. That's how I was brought up.
Well, see, and that's another thing. When you brought up that when you used to, it's like, okay, you're older. It's like it's just in a habit. It's a habit.
But I'm 71 years old. If I don't want to have matching sheets, I can.
You can. Yeah, I can.
I can.
Why am I still holding on to this?
Why am I fighting with this stupid sheet? So, anyways, so those were my lessons for today.
That is that. Yeah, because a lot of people, you're talking about making up beds and stuff. Because I know, some people, or friends and stuff. I'm telling on friends now.
Of course.
And used to be myself. I asked them, I said, I said, just curious. And how you just come up with a question like we doing with make up the bed. I said, do you make up your bed every day? Just curious. Yeah, and some of you like, if they're just with them and their husband or just they're staying alone or whatever, like, no.
I mean, my girlfriend never does.
Yeah, they said, I just leave it because it's like, what? Somebody's going to come and tell me, well, you didn't make up your bed. And she's like, I'm there. I'm going to crawl in the night. And so I said, and I told myself, I get it. Everybody has their own thing. But for some reason, I have to. It's
I
like
have to make my bed
for me. I just have. I feel like it's a complete. Like I completed and did like a task.
And I, as a girl, I'm Canadian, and we had a group. I was part of. It was like Girl Guides here, but it was Canadian Girls in Training, CGIT, and we learned how to do hospital corners and military corners. When I make my bed, it's a military corner. I mean, you can bounce a quarter off of it. It's that tight. Anyways, so to have these sheets, It's been bugging me. And it was like, for heaven's sakes, Barbara, one of my things today was rescheduled because there was a conflict on their end. And I went, well, guess what? This is a seat. God opened up the window for me to go to, I'll have to go in. I'm going to buy 2 white ones. That's it. I don't even have to have colored ones. I'm going to have white ones. That'll go with everything. So.
Oh, that's funny. Well, we're going to take a small break and see what's going on with Techie with our guest. Because for some odd reason, she's having some little tech issues that she can't get in. So let's do a few of our sponsors just to give them their due, just due. And then we'll come back.
And we'll come back.
And we will come back.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been shown that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
Haiti borders with the Dominican.
Her name is Serena Buffalino. They call her Mrs. B, and her class always begins with a pledge.
Something local, something global. Haiti.
They're words that carry weight here. Helping yourself means helping others, giving back, here and a world away in Haiti.
And nobody's helping them, except for people like us.
It was through her the class learned of Haiti, of the nearly 1 million orphans, many with no school, no support, no Mrs. B in their lives.
They could not wrap their head around that.
Mrs. B's students are among Toronto's most at risk. Their challenges vary from emotional and behavioral difficulties to learning disabilities. Their trauma so severe they can't function in a regular school setting, and we aren't allowed to show most of their classmates.
For most of the kids, most of society has turned them away. And in this classroom, they're accepted. They're accepted no matter what for who they are.
Take Yolanda. She came here last year so burdened and withdrawn, she would often fall silent, sometimes for days on end. It was, she says, Mrs. B's patience, her quiet encouragement, that saved her.
She actually saves people's lives from dangers.
And perhaps that's why these marginalized kids feel such a kinship with the orphans of Haiti, and why they were moved to act.
And so when Yolanda and Jackie and Patrick said, well, Miss B, we need to build them a school.
Build a school, no easy task. They started out raising money. They sold samosas, washed cars, screened movies, you name it. And in just a few months, this little class raised $20,000. So much, it's not just a one-room schoolhouse they can build, but a full 3-story school. And so Mrs. B set off on a journey she'd dreamed of, up into the dusty mountains above Port-au-Prince to a town called Canaan. It's home to thousands of earthquake refugees who live with no running water, no electricity, and no school, until now. The first step was a temporary school. It's up and running. 53 students already in uniform. The permanent school for 250 is growing from its foundations.
It makes me want to cry because she just makes me feel so awed, and I'm very proud of her.
All of this because of a handful of students back in Canada and Mrs. B, the teacher who believed in them.
These are for you.
At another fundraiser, a special tribute to the students, accepted by someone who without Mrs. B might not be here.
They believe in me and I believe in them, and together we not only change our lives, but we change the world around us.
For inspiring great things and seeing the potential in everyone, Serena Buffalino is this week's Everyday Hero.
This is the reason why I do what I do, is because of Yolanda and all the
Oh, yay! You got us on, yay!
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Did you? Were your ears burning that we were talking about you?
In a good way. In a
good way. I was telling everybody how much you push me sometimes.
Oh, well,
And
my
about
earbuds aren't working, so.
And about the clutter.
Well,
she's saying
and I decluttered a room, and that we're remodeling, and I showed Barbara on a call that we were on, and forgot to take the before picture. Got the after picture, but I forgot the before picture. So the decluttering is it's major. We don't realize how much that clutter bothers us in our everyday life.
Yes. And emails the email is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. There's so much more. Yeah.
And I had to admit that I had 80,000, a little bit more than 80,000 unread emails.
That's a lot.
Don't feel bad.
Not the record, though. Not the record, I hear.
Okay, it's not the record. And is that only one email address that you had, the 80,000?
Well, that was the combination of.
Oh,
well,
so you
remember, I didn't know how to segment, so I just started new email addresses.
So in each email, it totaled 80,000.
It totaled 80,000 unread emails.
Well,
But
just
it
in
all
one of
showed
my-
up the icon, like on the app. It showed 80,000 emails.
Well, see, that's together. That's cool. Mine, one email has 80,000, and I got 3 email addresses.
You have 3 email, right?
Well,
Well,
that's
I have probably 12.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, sometimes you get to the email, you're like, where
I
does
think we
email
all
come from?
have a lot of them. The thing is I'm a friend of the delete button. There are something, but my thing is go just stop having that push notification on that particular thing, and that would cut down, because every time I go and delete all those things, but that takes time too, and I need to do that. And I did not, I usually go in and go to the bottom, do the unsubscribe, go and and so I'm glad to hear about the delete button. Yeah, that's cool.
But anyway,
every year I archive my emails that are still in my thing, and I put them in a folder under that year, because it'll make it easier to find.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Because I've deleted some, it's not 80,000. So, but each year, and that way, if I, like say, when was the car wreck, and you have emails back and forth, you can go to that year and start seeing them, or when was this or that, and so that has helped.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to learn how to do that. You'll have to show me.
See, this is what I talk about: collaboration and really getting together so we can help each other. It's all about that,
because that's been one of my biggest lessons, is that because our brain only has so much, and we can only know what we already know. I mean, that's my favorite saying: you don't know what you don't know until somebody else tells you something that you don't know. And then, because sometimes one of the things I think for me is that we have a vision of what we want to do. We have no idea how. That's our job, to cast a vision. It's not our job to know how. The universe will send us the people to teach us how. All we have to be open to is the opportunity of, oh, this is what I want to do. How do I do it? Well, people or Google, whatever, YouTube, however you're going to find out how to do it. But you have to have the vision. That's your job. But you don't necessarily have to know the how of it. You just have to be open to the floodgate of people that are going to come. Oh, well, I'll teach you how to do that. Oh, I'll teach you how to do that.
And you've got to receive from them.
And
So
receive
often
them.
we think, well, you know, the janitor of the school wouldn't know how to program my computer. Duh. What does he do in his off time?
Right.
And we look at people and we put them in the little boxes, and we are the losers because we are not willing to receive from somebody because we don't perceive them as having that knowledge or ability. And so we have to kind of take a step back and look at ourselves and look at our preconceived notions.
Yeah, take the plank out of our eye to see the speck in somebody else's. Yes.
Amen. Amen.
And then sometimes we have to put our ego, because that ego gets huge. The ego is huge, and say, I need help. I need to find somebody to help me with this, instead of saying, that's okay, I got it. I have it. I'm good. Knowing in the back of your mind, you are not good. In fact, your alarms are going in the back of your head saying, I need some help. I can't get this. I don't understand. That's your mind, but in front of you, like, I'm okay. I'm good. No problem. And I'm like, no. And I see people do it all the time. In fact, I used to do it a long time ago because I didn't. And I think it's because, too, people, sometimes you don't want to look like, okay, I don't know how to do this. Well, I don't know how to do that either. And I don't want to admit it. And I got to tell somebody. And then, then people feel, that shit, all that starts to come in sometimes. And, I think for me, the older I get, I'm like, I don't care. I just need to find somebody to do this. I don't care. People have to know that, well, you didn't know how to do that, Barbara? I don't care. I just, you know what? I found Carol. I found Barbara. They knew how to do it. And now I could do it. So that's important. That's the important part. Yeah.
Well, and part of it is that I think we come from a generation of, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get going. And plus, if we've ever had the misfortune of trusting a job to somebody and they did it poorly, and it really kind of bit us in the backside. And so, then there's that fear there and that lack of willingness to move out and trust again. And so we have those things that are in our mind, replaying over and over in our mind, saying, oh, you better not do that. Remember what happened last time? Ooh, what if what about this? What about that? And so I think that's something we need to recognize.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. It's like, okay, I don't trust it. It happened this before. I'm like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want them to do that again. Oh, there's you got to welcome another guest, Barbara.
This is Tripod.
Tripod here.
Oh, look at Tripod.
I learned that, Carol has seen this happen. I have a virtual background. And one day I had it, I've never even thought about it. All of a sudden my virtual background started to move. And it was moving and moving. Tripod was trying to get in to sit on my lap. So now I have to leave a space for her to come in because she comes and sits, and she knows I'm talking about her. She comes in, sits on my lap, and she every time. So now I just plan for it. Because and then in a few minutes she'll jump down and go back. It's like, I want to be part of the show.
I'm ready for my close-up.
She looks up at you when you're talking to her.
She looks like she knows I'm talking about her.
So at least she doesn't tell she's cluttered.
Although Carol, I want to tell on Carol for just a second because we're good. She know about your chickens. She goes out and she talks to her chickens.
Chickens.
Yes.
So,
And
Carol,
you
wait a minute.
lost your
I want to hear about this. So,
chicken.
Carol, are you like on a ranch? Do you live on a ranch
I'm
with?
like the crazy chicken lady. No, I live on a lake. I have an HOA. My HOA is not real happy um, because they thought this lake in the middle of the prairie of Texas was going to be like the new Hilton Head. Of course, that was back in the 70s and 80s. It's not. It would be a gated community if it were not on the prairie, but how do you gate the prairie? My backyard looks over onto this lake that's 15 miles long and a mile and a half wide,
It sounds
and
so
it's
pretty.
beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's not the green lush beauty, but it is beautiful. And it is what it is. But we're on a little over an acre, and so my son had chickens, and when they moved to Washington State, we didn't have our fresh eggs anymore. So missed those a lot. Had chickens when we lived in town, and so we got them again. But in town, Keith had said they all have their own personality. But I've really noticed it this time. They do have their own personalities, and I do talk to my chickens, and I do, I film them for TikTok.
Yeah,
That's one of the
that's one of
things
the
Barbara
so
made
here's
me
the one with
start
the chickens
doing.
and the TikTok. Okay, I definitely got to go on your TikTok.
Carol is the
I think is it
lady.
cheap chicken lady or something
Yeah,
like cheap chickens.
chicken
I
lady.
think is the name of it.
Yeah.
So
That is
yeah.
so cute. I love it. I love it. Well, when you think about it, we talk to cats. They're animals. They hear us. They know. They sense what we're saying. So not really bad that we're talking to, the animals.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're part of the universe.
Yeah, they're part of the universe.
And they know their names, and the other chickens know that chicken's name.
See?
So yeah, they're smart little animals, and there is now a law, and I think it's federal, but it may just be the state of Texas, that even with an HOA, you can have 6 chickens on your property, no matter what. So there's nothing better than fresh chicken eggs, and if you have just even a small little area, you could have 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 chickens, and they make these cute little coops. We have one that we call the Palace because it's so much prettier than our regular big chicken coops. But it's totally enclosed. I mean, they have their little top part and their little nesting box, and then they have a screened in area on the bottom so they can run around and scratch in the grass. And this one's called a chicken tractor. So there's 2 wheels, and you can pick it up and move it to fresh grass every couple of days. And your yard will look beautiful because they are taking very good care of it. And so anyway.
See, they're keeping up with a lot of other things besides just staying there and doing the eggs. They're taking care of the clutter.
Well, they're eating the bugs. They're a guinea hen. You wouldn't want that in town because their guineas are very loud. But they will totally rid your property of ticks. So if you have a tick problem, get some. All chickens will, but the guineas are especially.
Wow.
What we can learn from nature and animals.
And we can tie this back into clutter. So with the ticks and everything in the yard, they're keeping it up for you. So you don't have to worry about taking care of that. See?
Well, and if you garden, you can put them on your garden, and they'll basically till the fertilizer in, and like hay or grass clippings or whatever. They like to scratch, and they'll till it in for you and get your beds ready so you're not out there doing it physically.
Doing it yourself. See, See, I can get all the help. In my mind, I'm like, I can get all the help that I can get if they're going to help me say yes, do this. I don't want to go out there. That's interesting. Wow.
Things we learned from our guests. But anyways, you did not come, Carol, you did not come on here to talk about chickens. But
it's okay to take a little detour.
The thing is, though, it comes under the heading of let's make happiness the norm rather than the exception. And that's the premise of our show. This is called the Time to Shine Happiness Show. Chickens make Carol happy. She's loved talking about her chickens.
And it surprised me.
And she's getting so many followers on TikTok because you wouldn't believe how many people post about chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe me, I'm
Well,
learning a lot about TikTok and what people post lately, and you
it's
be phenomenal how
yeah,
they get the numbers over certain things.
yeah, and it's a
Yeah.
great way to meet people who have similar interests.
Interest, yeah, and that's what I tell
That's the
people.
part I've got to learn more about because I just watch my numbers go up. So
Yeah.
That's
So
yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
it's just fun. It's just fun. But anyway, so Carol, tell us about you. I mean, now
I think you
I
know
know you
about
because
me.
we've known each other for
Um,
years.
well, I'm married. I have been married for 47 years, coming up on an anniversary in July.
Congratulations.
Um, my husband had a traumatic injury, broke his back. They fused the bones, and in the hospital, they went to roll him every 2 hours, to keep him from getting pneumonia and stuff like that. But the problem was they threw all of his cover on his feet. And so they rolled him, and the top half of him rolled, and the bottom half of him didn't. And so the fusion got crooked and pinched his sciatic nerve.
Oh,
Um, and that's extremely painful. And so he was on very high doses of medicine. At that point, 18 different drugs from none. And one of them was to keep the other medicines down. Another one would make his skin peel off like a blanched peach. And then, because of the pain, he had 2 heart attacks. So they added more drugs onto him.
oh
And
wow.
during, I've been on just a wellness, and when I really look back, my grandfather was a pharmacy back in the day when you custom compounded things. So I learned a lot from him and a lot from my mom. But, like everybody thought, oh, well, the doctors know, we'll do what the doctors say. And I've kind of come full circle from that for many years. A lot of people are doing that now with what's going on in our world today, saying, let's take a look at this again. But
Mm-hmm.
I now, due to things that I do and protocols that I have in place, he is off. Well, let me back up. It got to the point for many years he was on custom compounded codeine and morphine, um, major high doses. I won't even go into how much. Doctors have said, how can you be walking and talking with this size dose? Um, but that's where he was. We have him off of all those meds. He is on uh, a half of one that works on kidney stones, and half of what they used to have. Well, actually, a fourth of what they used to have him on, and then another one that he's down to just the
Wow.
minimal amount, and
Amazing.
so it's a walk and it's a choice and it goes into all kinds of different things. Um, we are parents of it. He came with two and we have three together, and we have 15 grandchildren. We just had twins.
Wow, congratulations.
There's
Wow.
a little
So
note on the
so Kira, I have a question about your husband because I know you said he, through all that he had 2 heart attacks. Now, did anything like, because usually with the heart, depending on how severe it is, it can cause other damages. Did it cause anything, or with you going through all the protocols and everything, did it seem like it helped with that too, or healed him from certain things?
it did. I mean, God is a healer. Okay, sometimes it's just instant, and sometimes it is a process and a protocol. And we've had both. And so I want to make sure to give glory where glory is due.
Yeah.
Um, with the heart attacks, the first time they put in 3 stents, um, we were here at the lake. We're 45 minutes out of town, and it was late at night. And he said, "Yeah, he got a call from a friend, and he said we're going to town." And I said, "Okay." He said, "Finish watching your movie." And I'm going, why are we going to go? I thought we needed to go see this pastor friend for some ministry reason. And he said, "No, I'm going to the hospital." And I'm like, okay. And so I'm calmly throwing things in my suitcase because in my knower, I knew that I wasn't going to be back for a few days. And they said we got there with 45 minutes to spare. And that was the first heart attack. The second one, we were in town, in our motorhome. We were in town, staying there for a while due to some damage at my office, and he stumbled out of the back bedroom and said, "Call 911." Now that scared me way more than the first one, because the first one he drove us to town, and this one, the ambulance. He said that was like the elephant on your chest. He would fall to the floor like you could get more air down there, but of course you couldn't. And so they took him by ambulance and to the hospital. And that time they went and did a quadruple bypass.
Wow.
So yeah, that was a trip, and it was a walk. And and as he watches diet. And we don't do these real strange things, but if he eats, he was diagnosed as couldn't have any dairy products because the caseins, not lactose intolerance like most people, not the gassiness, but pain in your joints, like sand in your joints. And he wasn't with that, wouldn't have any flour. And we did find a product that allowed him to have those things in moderation. Now, if he gets out of moderation, he hurts more. But it used to be that before we found that he would eat, and I had to be the food Nazi. I'm talking about one string of cheese accidentally on a salad could put him in tears for 2 weeks.
Wow.
It was that bad of a calcium. Yeah. So, it's how you choose your life. And what the words of your mouth. I mean, if you are constantly talking about being down, constantly talking about being sick, constantly bad mouthing everybody around you, that's what you are going to have, because this entire world was built by words. God spoke. Said, light be, and light was. And so the chair you're sitting in is words. The life you're living today is the words you spoke yesterday and years past. So, the power of the tongue is mighty.
Yes. That's why I always tell people, if you want something in life, just speak it and the universe will hear it. God will hear it. It'll come to existence. It might not come at the time that you want to, but it's going to come.
Or it might not come how you think it's going to come.
Yeah, well, it's like people helping us. And you have to make sure that what you're speaking lines up with scripture. You can't just say, I'm going to have a Cadillac tomorrow. That's where all the bad press, so to speak, got in the 60s and in the 70s and 80s. You can't just, God's not a genie in a bottle. But it says his words will not return to him void. So if you need health in your life, you find healing scriptures and you pray those out loud, and do it consistently, daily, and it will come to pass, whether it comes to pass instantly or through a doctor or something like that. So that is it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, and one thing that Carol and I have talked about, and sometimes if you're, not every person knows everything, and that includes doctors.
Oh,
if you are not getting results with your doctor, and I want doctors to be around. However, if you are not getting the results that you're looking for, find either look for an alternative or find a new doctor that is like Carol just said, that's more in alignment with what you're wanting for your life. So many people that's where I was. That's how I came into the wellness space. I was like, I looked at my doctor and I said, there has got to be a better way. These things are not helping me. I can hardly walk. I can hardly breathe because with allergies and asthma and arthritis, the three biggies of me, so I could hardly walk, could hardly breathe. And it was like, was constantly sick. There's got to be a better way. And that's when I came into the wellness space. That, okay,
Well,
I'm going
if
to
you
find
think
out.
about it, yeah, sorry. That when you think about it, when when we were kids, okay. In fact, I saw a meme the other day that showed a bottle of mercurochrome. It says, "Yeah, you could cut off one of your limbs, and they'd put mercurochrome on it," and that's nearly true, you know. And nowadays, a kid falls down and scrapes their knee, and they're in the emergency room, or they cough twice and they're in the emergency. Well, and it's just a spiral down. Once they start putting you on those allopathic medicines, you need more and more and more. Just like Keith finally had medicine to keep the medicines down. And yes, we probably needed some of those for a short term, but he was on high opiates for over 25 years. Over 25 years. And I mean, this was severe enough. He was a contractor, and this was severe enough that he had to give up his business. They said he'd never work again. And he worked for 10 more years because he could go get the crew going and come back and sleep, go get the crew closed up and come back and, rest. But when he finally, after 10 years, had to retire on full disability, and he was fairly young. I think he was 49 when that happened. And,
Wow.
That's young. And so, but he was on opiate drugs for over 25 years. And so, I mean, I count that as such a blessing that we're not having to do so. I mean, they had to compound it because the doses were so high. They had to put stuff in it that would help his heart keep beating and his lungs to keep breathing, because those are
Interesting.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Well,
yeah,
Carol, we're going to
it
bring you
can
back.
be done. It
We
can
got
be done. I won't say
there's
it's
so much
quick, and
to.
I won't say it's easy.
Yeah, I was going to say we
Okay.
have to bring you back because there's so much other stuff that we would like to talk to you about. But with the time, we're going to have to close out. But I want to, Carol, if you can, anything else, just the last things that you want to tell the audience, for maybe 30 seconds. Can you tell the audience?
Don't give up. Find somebody that will help. Reach out to one of us because we are versed in what we do. I do have a Facebook page. It's Carol Henderson Life by Design, and or I think I saw my email scroll across. Put something in the subject that I will notice, something like health and wellness or something like that, so I won't hit my delete button. And if for some reason or other I don't answer you back in 24 to 48 hours, email me again, because you may have been a victim and I didn't mean it. So anyway.
Like you said, a victim of my delete button.
A victim of my delete button. But I love helping people. So definitely, if you have challenges, reach out. I am not a doctor, and I do not play one on TV. So my opinions are my opinions, or it's my experience. So each person needs to come to me with the thought of, I'm going to get information and I'll do what I feel is best for me.
Yeah, good disclaimer. I always tell people the disclaimer. You have to still, do the check. But
Yeah.
wonderful lady. Yeah, well, you're gonna come on my show in a few weeks, and then I know Barbara's been having you on hers. So you're just a delight. We love you. We love to always have you, and you bring so much knowledge and wisdom to us. So thank you for coming on today.
Can I give a shameless plug about the show Barbara and I do?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we do. We're the Motivation Mavens, and we do a show on Monday. And this Thursday is our launch of Thoughtful Thursdays, and that's going to be one where we interview guests. And we have a wonderful gentleman coming on this week.
So Miss Barbara, my other half here, she's on almost 5 times out the week.
Yeah, I've got it. I've learned from the best. You're on every day. So, you know, I'm taking a page out of your playbook.
Well, if she's pushing me,
well, the monster has came. We're a monster. We created the monsters in us, but good ones.
Barbara Beckley, you've got like ripples in a pond.
Exactly.
I'm one of your ripples.
It's like I said a little while. I'm gonna have to have like a network thing where it tells every show so I can keep up with everybody. It's like wow.
Right. And this week is our women's panel too. So
I know
it's
Thursday evening. So
I'll see a lot of y'all this week.
We're gonna be just bugs.
We're just buddies. I'm telling you, we're just gonna keep it going, keep that train going.
And the beauty is we don't have to travel. We can just do it right here. I love it.
And that's the nice thing about it. See, I don't have to go out and go and wherever. It's like right here. Here we are all the time.
And I have to admit, I've got all these pretty on, and I have my jammy bottoms on.
Okay, with that said,
be yourself. That's the thing. Be yourself.
I want to try to close our show. Yes. But one thing I want to remind everybody is tonight, because every Tuesday now, me, myself, and Barbara, the BBs, we come on Clubhouse now under the Strategy Elephant the Clubhouse, because there's a Clubhouse and then there's rooms under it. People, that's another show I got to do, how to tell people. Some people don't understand that, but yeah, if they go to Elephant Strategy Club, we come on at 8:30 Central Time, and we'll be there for at least, we try to do an hour to discuss different topics. And tonight, without really thinking of a different one, I think we should talk, Barbara, more about clutter and dealing with that and different aspects of it. And we could do mind, spirit, soul, and body. We can, do different aspects of it and go
clutter in all sorts of places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not just emails.
There's not just email.
A whole lot. So if people want to chime in, and they can be in their pajamas and stuff, because it's auto. It's audio.
Only audio. Thank the Lord.
So thank you, ladies, so much. We will see. Well, me and Barb will see everybody next Tuesday. And if you said come in tonight to Clubhouse, we'll be there too. And all the other shows that Barbara, the BBs have, we'll have to get a list. Let everybody know.
It's fun. Makes me happy.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody. See you next week. Bye.